Does it work? Yeah, I can hear the music.
I think these were bootleg. These. And let's use another part.
Hey, hey. Welcome to the show. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. I am Lady Wu. Happy spring. So excited about what's in store for this weather. Very, very excited about that. And the energy that it brings. It just brings newness, excitement, motivation to do something different. Get out, get going. So happy spring. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the new year for some. Eddie, hey.
What's going on?
Ready Eddie is in the building. Marshall is back. Alan repping the youth crew over there. Hello, sir.
What's up?
And we have special guests in studio tonight. Really, really ready to get to this conversation. But before we get to our special guest, Eddie, it's been a whole lot going on in the news. And our special guest, I'll go ahead and say his name, Mr. Aubrey Bennett. He's an instructor and teacher, so I'm quite sure you pay attention to what's happening too. If you want to chime in,
I do.
I figured you would.
There's a lot going on, and it's part of my class. So.
Oh, okay, great. So, where should we start?
I don't even know. I mean, the most imminent worry that we got is probably the gas tanks. And so right now what's going on in Iran with the Trump administration is just like as unpredictable as it is unplanned.
Yeah. Okay. So I heard like $100+ a barrel. I don't really know what that means, what that looks like when you talk about one barrel of oil. How big is that? How many people does it serve? You think about all the people in the United States of America, all the people everywhere else that depend on, or I don't really understand the numbers about that.
I know the best way I can understand the numbers is a couple of weeks ago, it cost me $40 and now it cost me $58.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Prices are going up.
Yeah.
That's what we know.
Yeah.
Okay. But
prices are going, and a lot of stuff goes into it. So we get into the Strait of Hormuz, where a lot of oil is going through this strait, and our Iran is, limiting that. And then, you thought they limited it for everybody, and then they start negotiating with individual countries, which is not good for the U.S.
Yep.
Israel ain't never stopped bombing nobody. And then what you're not supposed to do is be bombing places where the oil, resides. And so Israel been bombing those places, and now they're talking about the Karg Island, where all of Iran's oil operations is going, and Trump is talking about doing an invasion over there because they're trying to find workarounds for dealing with the Strait of Hormuz situation. So they don't have a plan. They basically just freestyling what's going on.
It whatever Trump wants to do, Trump does. I saw him this morning talking about Cuba, and he said, "Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with it." Why is it I? Why? What? What are you?
He said we're gonna end his war when he tired.
What is wrong?
When he feel like it.
And we just sit back and watch it. And I'm so confused right now. This is why I don't know a lot about what's happening, I think, because whereas I used to cover these stories and want to pay attention and get each bullet point and each talking point and really understand it, now the capacity for peace in me is way bigger, it's way greater. So I wait to learn here on the show.
And I think that's something that we as Americans, I think people across the world actually are looking for, again, peace. And I think that's something that, hopefully we get back to very quickly.
Yeah.
There's a reasons why we did not attack Iran in the past.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and this is kind of the culmination of all that.
Well, it's because Trump wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. Can we focus on that part right quick?
What about?
I just do what I want to do. That's crazy to me.
He has the luxury to believe that. See, we are up against a nation that has planned for their leader to potentially be killed. Our president has the luxury of not believing that he could just be ended in any minute. Yeah. And so they're planned for that. They've been under attack for so many people. That's why all of this stuff is on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why the air fences come from the mountainsides.
Yeah.
They've planned for all of this stuff. And while America just like their planning is at best kind of like the best information we have right now, which proved to fail when they bombed that school, because the best information that they had was that used to be a military installation that is a school now. And so they move in such a way that they be prepared for this. What they doing now, they plan for all this. They don't plan for Israel to bomb all the oil spots. They don't plan for this island to get. They plan for this stuff. Now, I don't know how far their planning goes when it comes to the world stage, but this one finna be a cakewalk. Yeah, and everybody, every economist that is familiar with foreign policy has and could have told them that this was not going to be as easy as you think it is.
They said it's very similar to like Vietnam, right? Like that was 100%. A disaster for America. We thought we were bigger, better, stronger. And we go in and we go into a country we have no idea about, and bang, it's one of our only defeats in reality.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this could be a very similar situation. And again, you're in a country we really have no idea about, really have no dealings with. So it kind of makes not a lot of sense for us here over in America why we're still fighting this war.
And when it comes to Trump doing whatever he want to do, it's a situation where there's been several points at which he could have stopped, but that's his ego, that's his pride. That's where him being bamboozled by Israel, by Netanyahu in this whole situation in the first place. Like his ego and his need for powerful male approval won't allow him to just like not feel like he's that. And so he probably gonna try to run this into the ground until he's so unfavorable with the American people. Like he's very unfavorable now.
He doesn't care. But then they lie about the numbers on that too. He still has like a ridiculous approval rating. I think it's a lie. I don't think it's true.
But I do think
help me understand it. Break it down.
I think where it gets dangerous is if he can figure out how to turn this into a war that gives him wartime power so that he can like eliminate the midterms or eliminate if this happened to go for 2 years, eliminate that. Like, I do think his ego is big enough to try to figure out what are the most extreme. I mean, they were already talking about him running a third term. They finding all kinds of ways to maintain power. That is in the realm of a megalomaniac, narcissist, psychopath
on a grand
all the criteria in the DSM.
Yeah, on a grand stage.
And I will say Trump has been since I guess maybe my lifetime, and I don't know, he's the first president that has really exercised the executive branch to the fullest. And I think people really don't understand that. Like he has stretched it to the fullest ability. And
it started with the executive orders. Like nobody really understood that.
The power of them and everything. Yeah, he just understands how to manipulate the executive branch and to get what he wants to do.
Yeah. And or like when you talk about politics as usual, I guess this is what politics is unusual looks like, because we didn't know how far the power was extended because everybody was just operating the way that every other president has operated.
Yep.
Now it takes somebody with whatever going on with Donald Trump have to now be making these decisions. And he pushing the power, but also they're pushing it to become something that it might not have fully been through using the courts and the Supreme Court and firing all of these generals and just finding people more agreeable, people that are, follow his MAGA.
Yeah.
So
somebody once said, I read an article about it, and they said that when Trump was voted into office, it opened Pandora's box. And I think that's a really good way to look at this. Like it's a box that's open now. And eventually but I do think America will come back and close it eventually. I think it's going to, like anything, it has to get worse before it gets better. In all capacity.
And I need whoever come into power to wave that wand the same way Trump did. I don't want nobody to come in and be like, all right, well, that's over. Now let's keep it moving and keep moving from where that it ended at.
Yeah.
I need start over. Like a movie where everything go back like Jumanji. Everything went bad in the world. At the end, let's put this thing back.
Yeah.
At least.
Because I will say that's what happened with Biden. That's why Biden was really that's why the Democrats were so unfavorable in the last election, is
We
because
just kept rolling.
they just put a Band-Aid over it and they were quiet and they really did not
Yeah.
target the root of the problem, which was what everything else that Trump and the Republicans kind of stood for. Not saying all Republicans MAGA and all.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, for those of you who are watching and listening, I want to know how much you think you know. How much about this do you really understand? That is the question. Do you really understand, or how much of it do you understand about what's going on right now? A survey says that nobody really understands anything. All we know is that gas is high, and yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm taking from this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Our government, when they want to, can just take a moment and say we need $200 billion more to fund this. This is the same government that's sending Israel enough money for their citizens to have free school and free healthcare, and they're telling us we can't have it. And not only that we can't have it, we'll take what little you do have when we feel like it. To me, this is just no longer the time to accept our government saying that y'all can't have anything. I just don't think we can't accept anymore a government that tells us, y'all got to pick yourselves up by your bootstraps. But that let capitalism be the thing that tells us that we can be like them one day, but the elites have created a system that you're not going to be like them.
Yeah, if you're elite, you're elite.
You're not going to be like them.
It's not.
Ellen, what you thinking? That's what you like.
I feel like he's doing this so he can distract people from talking about the Epstein.
Oh,
that's
what the word is. Okay, so like a whole war. I'm taking everything I want, doing everything I can, making all of this noise so y'all won't open this manila folder or won't continue to dig through this folder.
Yes, that's what I personally think.
That's what I've heard that.
Yeah. I mean, and several things can be true at the same time. It's like, let's distract from these things because that's his game. He always finds something to distract from something else. But also he in over his head and it's costing us.
I was going to say, you put you in the files, not me. Okay. Then locally, y'all, the waterworks. The waterworks have been creating some waterworks. People are up in arms, in tears about what's happening locally with the water system. Another situation that people really don't even know what is what. They just know that, once again, some rates are going up or rates have gone up and we don't know what's happening. People have lost jobs. We don't know why. But here we are at the hands of the government yet again, just taking it.
And the takeover of the water board is something that's been in the works since like the 90s.
Yeah.
They've been trying to take over the water board for a long time, right? So to one, I guess, blame it on an administration now outright, as far as, the mayor. And then the next part is this administration in the Trump, we don't know what those people who took over the board know about what changes have come down from the Trump administration as far as DEI and as far as what kind of regulations have been impacted, because the water board just released it. They taking fluoride out the water now.
Yeah.
Now, is this a reasonable change to make, or is this some RFK, anti-science stuff? I don't know. I mean, reading it looks like maybe it's a toss-up as to whether it needs to be in your water because it's in mouthwash, toothpaste, and those things. But why has it been done for so long? And now, right now, when y'all take over this board, y'all fire a bunch of people, and now y'all just happen to be making a decision that's going to impact everybody, and y'all haven't given any science backing up. Y'all just said we just made this decision because we need to save money.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the article say.
Yeah, it does.
So soon we will jump down the rabbit hole and find an expert who can share the details. How did we get here? Is always the question, I think, at this point in time. How do we get here? Who's been following it long enough to really understand what's happening? Not an opinion-based show of, well, I think they said, no. How did we get here? So we're working on that show and that information because I want to know. I can honestly say I don't know.
This is just another moment. What is our government doing for us? What are the systems that operate in the cities that we live in? What are they doing for us? Right? Why does a data center come into our city and we don't have a government that's saying, hey, look, you got to do this somewhere. So if you're going to do it somewhere, you need to make bills lower for our citizens. Instead of saying, well, come on in, give us some jobs, and our citizens will just have to pay the bill.
Pay the bill.
They got to be somewhere.
Yeah, a financial bill and a physical bill, because you don't know, another thing with the data center is like how I've heard people even bring up radiation and all types of things that we have no real knowledge of. But if they say it's coming, it's coming.
It's coming.
I mean, we got video cards in our computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of this video cards in here. Who has done the data to inquire about what happens when you put 500 of them in one place at the same time? I mean, we know it take a bunch of water because they get hot, so they got to be cooled.
Mm-hmm.
So we know your water bill going up, but what other harms can it be causing? We don't know. It's just like these people are just experimenting on us, and just like all these people working in these factories with asbestos, at some point, a commercial gonna come on and say you or your loved ones may be entitled to some funds if you lived near a data center that got $500 cards in it. You might be entitled to some funds.
That's the next mass lawsuit. You're right.
It's so many things, and this is how they happen. So the question is, how did we get here? I think that's going to be the name of the kickoff segment from now on, because we don't know. We just got here and we have to deal with it. I can tell you how our special guest got here tonight. Is that, before we go there, is that all that happened where I would be asking a question, how did we get here?
It's too much.
Is there one more thing?
It's too much.
I mean,
let's go to the kids, because
okay,
and the accolades and the education. Let's do that.
All right. Well, in studio, I was gonna say America's top teacher. Oh,
I wish.
Maybe Alabama's top teacher for sure. Mr. Aubrey Bennett is in studio. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. You are vital, so you have to be here. I don't know what the criteria is for the honor that you've received, so we look to hear that. But before we get to any of that, we want to talk about you, who you are, and what makes you so vital. So first part, you joined in the conversation on all the things that we don't know, which proves that you're an educator. You're an educator. So that's the first part. But then the second part is that you've been honored. So that means that somebody else has really valued the work and the time that you put into our children and into the system. So tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what schools you went to.
Okay.
Give us your bio.
Well, first of all, I'm actually a New Yorker. So
New
York. I'm from not the city, but I'm from Syracuse, New York, which is like central New York, the snowiest place in America. Came down here, went to school, Marist College, right outside New York City, Poughkeepsie, New York. And I took a year after I played college football. I took a year off. It was kind of burnt out, just traveled the world. And one of my best friends was down here playing baseball at Montevallo. Came down to his graduation and never left. And so kind of crazy from there. So I actually have a business background. So human resources, dealing with people. And so I was working as a drug rehab youth counselor at Oak Mountain Youth Services. And a friend there was like, you make a really good teacher. She was a teacher there. And she was like, you make a really good teacher. Birmingham City's hiring. So got connected with HR there. A lady's named Linda Roberson. Her son is Jay Roberson. So Linda Roberson's like my grandmother. Like this lady, I gave her a shout out when I won the award. I wouldn't be here today without her. Yeah, so she helped me get through the certification process. And then she paired me with another outstanding educator, and he won the national award. So he won the Milken Award, which is like the top 25 or 50 educators across the country. And his name is Dr. Charles Willis. He was at Smith Middle School. He was a turnaround principal there. So we just hit it off right away, very similar. He's been my mentor ever since. We were at Smith Middle School together for 6 years, and then he made a change to the high school, to Carver High School, which was one of the best decisions I ever made, because I loved the East Side I loved being on the East Side. I loved the community. I loved the kids and the people. And but it was time to move, and so we went over there. I became athletic director there and started teaching social studies.
Okay.
So throughout my time there for like 10 years, I ended up winning a state basketball championship with girls basketball. My boy Jarvis Wilson, who's now at Ramsey. We won with 7 girls during COVID.
Okay.
One of the craziest stories in the history of 8th day basketball. But Carver was a predominantly, very bad athletically, and it's just the area was pretty bad because we had the contamination and very, very poor over there in that side of town. But one thing I saw, there was a lot of hope, a lot of drive. A lot of people, they wanted to be successful. They just needed a structure and people in place. So that's kind of what I offered them. Went through COVID, kind of crazy. Went through a divorce, and then reshifted my mindset of, I kind of got burnt out from athletics because I put everything in it. I was at the pinnacle. I won.
With 7 girls.
Yeah, I was ready to hang it up. And then my principal came to me and was like, would you like to teach AP African American Studies? Now it was a brand new course that was being offered across the country. It had a lot of people were challenging it. A lot of states challenged it. Like in Florida, they banned it, period, completely. So a lot of states were challenging it. And my principal was like, you'd be great at this. And I said, heck yeah, let me try it out. And literally had no curriculum, nothing. All they did was kind of give you like the guidelines of what to teach, but not how to teach it. So I got into this space. Yeah, right. So I got into this AP African American Studies group, Facebook group, and just started connecting with people across the country and brought African American Studies to my students. The first year we had 14 kids. In advanced placement in Birmingham City Schools is, we are trying to increase our rigor year by year. And so first year I had 5 kids pass of the 14, which for us was a very high number. The second year I had 9 of 18. So I had a 50% pass rate. And so with AP, every kid that when you pass the test, you get college credit. And so that just kind of gives them that compatibility for college, getting them ready for college. And so then I also started doing other things because I had a lot of free time. So I coached varsity girls soccer, and then I took over, helped out with attendance, and then tried to help bridge our culture because we had our culture was, we're trying to like transform our cultures, especially because we started to get a lot of Hispanic students. And so we really wanted to embrace them. And so I took over that as well. And so I just had a lot of different things on my plate, and I got very blessed. I ended up getting surprised with winning Birmingham City Teacher of the Year. And then you get put into the pool for the state Teacher of the Year. And then I just honestly was blessed and humbled to get through that phase. So it was an amazing journey. I was honestly very, very surprised I got called, but I will say this, it wasn't just my award. It's for all of North Birmingham. It's for my school. It's for my kids. I always tell my kids, my AP kids, I was like, I won this award because of them. Like, honestly, because they believed in me. They loved the class. They cared about what they were learning. And I thought that was very powerful. Yeah. And so my platform now as the Alabama Secondary Teacher of the Year is to promote AP African American Studies across the state. Okay. Because right now we have less than 1% of our schools are actually teaching AP African American Studies. And a lot of it is politically based. Some is just because they don't know. But for me, I think it's important for us to understand all aspects of history, especially in one of the blackest states in the country.
Absolutely.
And that's my thing. So that's my stance, and I've been fighting for that ever since. And then this past couple months, I was actually blessed to go back to work with Dr. Willis, and I'll be moving down to the Board of Education, and I'll be the new Advanced Place Coordinator for Birmingham City Schools, which has been my new role for the past month, which has been a lot of fun. So trying to just grow access, rigor, and excellence within our schools.
Wow. Didn't even have to ask a question.
There you go.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was good. That was really good. So I want to go back to the part about you getting in the classroom though. You didn't have, like, African American Studies was not your major.
No.
Teaching was not education was not your major.
No. Yeah, I know.
But then you go from not doing it to winning an award doing it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you this. I've had very good leaders, very good mentors. I've taken things that work, and I've taken things that don't. Also too, I grew up on in the tobacco farms of North Carolina with my grandparents, my dad's side of the family. I grew up in a very poor environment as well. I grew up poor. My mom, was on food stamps, and she raised like 8 of us in a house. So we struggled. And so for me, it's like, I get both sides of everything. Like, I understand the discipline structure side, but I also understand the kids today. I understand everything that they go through. I understand where they're coming from. I understand how they think. And I try to bring both worlds together.
So important.
And for me, I'm a networker. I try to bring my kids to my community and to my people that can help them with opportunities and resources that they need to be successful. Because I think that's one of the biggest draws that we talk about when you talk about urban education, is that our kids just don't have the access that most kids get.
Yeah.
They don't have the systems in place for them to be successful. And so that was my thing. I can create those systems. I can fix that bridge and bring these worlds together to help them as much as possible.
And the fact that you believe that you could.
Yeah.
The fact that you believe, like, if I try this, it'll do it. Because a lot of times we think about it, we see it happening, but we don't know where to start to make it happen. And you're making it happen. So we appreciate that. That is so vital of you to be doing what you saw needed to be done.
Yeah.
That's big. Eddie, what you got?
When you talk, I can hear how the HR
Yeah,
kind of
you hear
helps
it.
you craft that system and connect the individuals
Yeah.
to the system.
Yeah.
It's like that's something that I'm hearing. I've talked to a lot of teachers, and I'm like, that's something that's a variable that's in there that like I hear from just the little bit you said that I'm sure is a baseline of how you operate.
Yeah, and my number one thing is, even in my new role, is relationships. Like, I'm not from here, but my relationships in Birmingham are very powerful because
Mhm.
I come with love. Like, I'm coming at you from a place of love, and two, it's about kids. So if we have those things in common, it's going to be very easy for us to get along. And so I think that's the big thing. One, you got to, for kids, I always tell them, you got to show them that you actually care. If you show them they care, they will do whatever they can to make you proud. And that's been my biggest blessing, is I truly love kids, and I love to see them be successful, because a lot of the times I see them in me. I see them.
Yeah.
I see who I used to be.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have had an Aubrey Bennett there
Yeah.
to kind of guide me, especially through my high school years when I struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Even being the man and playing sports, I struggled with a lot of my own demons that nobody kind of knew I was going through. So
Yeah.
Alan wants to speak.
Honestly, I can say is like you should keep going. I'm pretty impressed. I can't lie.
And
Yeah,
it's like Vital Youth Crew. So you took a leap year too, right?
yes, I did.
And within that year, or in that year, what have you, like what he just said about like taking that year off and discovering some things? Have you used your gap year the same way?
I mean, sort of. I mean, I've just been working. So normally I don't really go out to do things. Like the only places I really go is like the gym and to my job, obviously. But it keeps me doing something.
Okay.
Keeps me from just being isolated in the house all day, because I've kind of learned that like it can kind of mess with your mental a little bit, and you'll just be like confused about certain things.
So making it purposeful, like making it like really hearing just where somebody else did the same thing and it really turned out positive. It turned out,
And like people always have this concept of going to college when and genuinely it's not for everybody. Like most people want to go down their own path and do something bigger. Like most successful people have never gone to college, and somehow they're like, most of them are billionaires, millionaires, whatever it is. But yeah.
Look, well, we can be a millionaire, billionaire, not go or go. And you just moved to Birmingham after a graduation. You came to it, like that's really what happened. You came to your homeboy's graduation,
and I never left.
But then you came to Montevallo. I got my master's in Montevallo. It wasn't nothing that made me want to leave.
There was nothing in Montevallo. Double play. Double play was there. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't.
See,
what even is that?
Probably the smallest bar in Alabama. But
oh yeah, see, I didn't even do that. I went to Taco Bell sometimes. I went to Moe's,
McDonald's. I used to go to the McDonald's. Right there.
And then I left.
Yep.
But you stayed, and we are glad that whatever it was that caught your attention and made you stay. Let's see some of these comments.
So the awards that you got, are they structured such that you know what you did to get them, or are those, because some systems give awards and it's like you can't pinpoint exactly what it was, to a degree that you can like give teachers input about like what path they need to be on to be being seen in that way?
Yeah, so there's a whole thing. There's like well, first of all, I didn't do my application for Birmingham City Schools till like the last night, because I was just like, I'm not going to win this. I didn't think too much of it, and I don't care about recognition. Like, no, I don't. That has nothing. That's not who I've never ever been. But it was really cool. Like when I did the application, it made me kind of just go back and reflect on the things that I did do. That's the hardest part about education. You don't always remember what you've done.
Yeah, because it's every day.
It's every day. It's compiled all in one. And so that was one thing, but there's a rubric. You got to fill out, you got to answer like questions and stuff. And we have an amazing, Birmingham City Schools has an amazing, she's like she's a teacher of the year coordinator. So she's in the professional development realm, and her name's Dr. Tippett. And without her, I wouldn't have even won the state award, but she kind of helped craft me. She read my application and she was just blown away with it. But she guided me through the rest of the process through the state and stuff like that. Yes. But it's like steps. You go, you have to win your school. Then you go through your district. Then you win your district. Then you go to the Sweet 16, like basketball. Then you go to the Final Four. And then after you get to the Final Four, you have to do like an interview, a round table with like 16 people. So I went in there and just told they each fire off questions. Everybody fires off a question, and then they announced the top 2, and then they announced the winner, which my really good friend Katie Collins, she was actually she's the elementary teacher of the year. She's from Hoover.
Okay.
And that's like my sister, man. She is one of the most genuinely amazing, beautiful people I've ever met in my entire life.
And you met her through this process?
Yeah. So she was the elementary teacher of the year, but also the actual state teacher of the year. And I was Alabama secondary teacher of the year. So we consider ourselves the Alabama teachers of the year.
Gotcha.
And so, but she won top 5 nationally. So she was right now she's up for the national teacher of the year. So she's A1.
Bring her in here too.
Yeah, she's cool. So it's been a blessing. Like I said, this has been a wild ride. It's been cool to promote Carver High School out across the state and let people know what we're doing in Birmingham City Schools and how we view education here. Like, I think that's the biggest thing.
So I want to talk about that, how we view education and its importance. So like, we know that education is important because it opens doors and it puts you in different places and it elevates your financial earnings, all these different things. But I remember a time when education was key. Like children, we knew we had to be at school at 8. We looked forward to it. Our families were invested in us being at school. Now I see students that don't go to school. It's like a thing now where children don't have to go. When did this happen? It's different.
Yeah.
The idea of education is different. The value of education is different. Can you speak to what you see from your perspective when it comes to being in the class? Like, what does that look like in the classroom, in the system, and how people value education now?
That's a really good point. And the biggest change I'm gonna tell everybody was after COVID. Like, COVID changed everything.
For sure.
So it changed the mindset of the students and the parents, especially within the household. Because, for example, imagine during COVID, now everybody in my household can work. The student can work during the day, can make extra money, help pay bills and things like that. This kid's got money in their pockets.
That's fair.
They're looking at a different level of success in high school than just graduating. So as educators and schools, we have to be more creative. And I think the state has done a really good job. I've actually been very impressed with the state of Alabama since I've been in that realm as well, because now I deal with a lot of people from the State Department of Education and in Alabama. And the one thing that they're doing well is, and Birmingham City's piggybacking on this, and we're really pushing this, it's called post-secondary success.
Yeah.
So it's what happens after the kid leaves, right? Like he's saying, like, does a kid get enlisted, right? Do they go to the military? Do they get enrolled into somebody's college, right? Do they get a job? And then also do they get a certificate or whatever to be actually put into the workforce and be prepared for what's about to happen.
Right.
And so I think by offering kids those pathways now, kids are finding that school is important, because now I can be set up for success for whatever I want to do next. It doesn't just have to be, like he's saying, go to college, because that idea is kind of a dead window. It's not a dead window, but it's just not the same. It's a smaller percentage of kids going to school because of everything that's compiling. You're talking about debt. You're talking about kids not having the capacity to go to school as much. But can we get kids out of high school and be successful when they get out into the real world? And I think that's one of the most important things, but it's definitely a difference. But as schools, we just have to be more creative. How can we get kids to want to come back into this community building and have fun? Like, my biggest thing is about having fun. My kids came to my class because they had fun. And I try to tell that, like, I'm not going to militarize education at all.
I love
that.
We're
gonna have a blast. We're gonna go take field trips. We're gonna bring people in, and you're gonna have experiences that you need to see.
Yeah.
Have you had any, I guess, not conflict, but experience with, how the inner city school would be perceived? They'll think there's Morgan Freeman on the roof telling the kids to jump.
When you say inner city, I went east side high.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's some people that would be thinking that. And I imagine that in some rooms, you'd be like, Carver? Like a teacher from, like, what their perceptions must be.
Well, I think that's what shocked people most about me when they met me and they realized, like, this ain't your average Joe. First of all, and I will say I am a Birminghamian. Like, I am a proud person. This is my home, right? Birmingham is my home.
So you put down New York to say, we'll talk after this.
Oh, I just said that's where I'm from.
Okay.
So my home is
Birmingham.
Look at there. Birmingham. But no, for real, I think people have a bad misconception about city schools in general. And I tell people all the time, Birmingham City Schools is definitively leading the way when it comes to education in Alabama. Our growth is top tier, graduation rate top tier. We're doing a lot of powerful things, especially led by Dr. Mark Sullivan since COVID. to transform Birmingham City Schools to be one of the premier schools, not just in the state, but in the Southeast and the country. And I think as we continue these things and these innovative ideas, we just have to understand, put the students first, and let everything else play itself out, because it will. As long as you put the students first, everything else will do the part. But in the perception of Carver, I would challenge anybody. You can walk those halls any day and you'll see education going on. And kids love being there. And again, the cool part about Carver is we're a very mixed school. So we also house the ESL population. So for the district, it's called the Newcomers Program, which is about 65 students. Any kid that come from different countries, fresh into America, they get an opportunity to learn together to kind of get them acclimated early. And then we also have a very big Hispanic population as well, about 15-20%, which brings a different traditional set of values to our school system. And we've just done a good job of understanding our community. Like, we're ingrained. Like, I shop at Piggly Wiggly in North Birmingham. Like, my kids see me every day in any capacity. Like, I don't mind walking around Collegeville. Like, these are my kids. These are my people. Like, so.
All right now. So you talk about the children, but then the parent piece. We talked a few weeks ago about, I can't remember what the conversation was, but it was something where we talked about the parents and we talked to a charter school.
Okay.
And the charter school was saying that they go into the homes and the parents are held accountable. It was like a real big push on the parents. What does that look like in Birmingham City Schools from your perspective?
It's the same. I know Birmingham. I know with Mayor Woofin, I know they're really, and Dr. Sullivan, they're really trying to tag team it to get parents, one, about attendance. I know attendance is a big one, right?
And you mentioned working in that space.
Yeah, and I think again, you had to be creative, right? Talking to parents with respect, calling them and saying, "Hey, what's going on? How can I help you?" Not, "Why is your child not at school?" Because every time you talk to a different parent, or there's a different situation that's going on. You don't know if a student's parents were, or a family member was detained. You don't know if they don't have a car. You don't know if they lost their job. So just talk to them. And I always say education is it's a customer service job, because you're dealing with people in the community, and you're putting on your best face forward, because they are your customer. And anytime they can get up and leave and go to another school if they want. So the goal is to make sure that they are happy where they're at, and that they feel appreciated and they feel loved, and they when they need help, they get the help that they need.
I love that.
And so that was the big thing. Like, they call me Coach Bennett in Carver, and I don't have problems with parents. My parents, they all know me. I mean, I've been there for so long now that I know their brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. I know everybody. So, I mean, they know if you have a problem with Coach Bennett, you are the person.
Like,
with the
it's got to
problem.
be something with
Yeah,
you.
it ain't.
Yeah, I feel that way.
But that's the problem. I think, again, it goes back to relationships. It always circles back to relationships with people.
Is it the HR talking, Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
that's it.
There's an embedded system that he's talking from that you don't hear other teachers talking from.
Right.
It's undoubtedly when he's talking about relationships. You gotta know the people. You gotta make sure that the community just
customer service.
Exactly. Like, all of this stuff is like, that's one of them things where you find two professions that mesh together, and it looked like this in the best case scenario.
I was actually, I'm just very polite, honestly, very polite. I tell people, my first 6 months of teaching, I almost quit. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a situation where a kid threw with a little paper clip and almost hit a girl's eye, and I was so mad. I just walked out, and then I went home that night, and I looked in the mirrors. I took a long weekend, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I was teaching, like, from the textbook, lecturing.
That was what you were doing wrong.
Exactly. I asked myself in the mirror, I literally asked this question. I said, would I have fun in my class? And I said, no. And then the next day, that Monday I came in, I had like a whole new way of teaching. I literally stayed up. I planned all weekend, all night, and prepared a lesson that was just totally different. Interactive, kids, videos, music, projects. And then I got really involved in that, something called project-based learning. And it transformed my mindset of how kids learn. And then I started connecting it to their real world and to the community and things that they could do with service acts and things of that nature. So it takes failure to understand success. And throughout my life, that's what's been my blessing. Every time I failed, I've used it as a stepping stone to move forward.
Gotcha.
Love it.
As a therapist, early in my career, I was like, you know what? The way that I get these kids is the way that they're going to leave me, no matter how much work I've done in a lot of instances.
Mm.
It took my first kid like aging out of the system and leaving and becoming an adult and coming to me and saying, hey, you helped me in that time when I needed help. And I imagine, like, as a teacher, at a certain point, you start getting more of an abundance of that.
Oh yeah, right now I'm in a really big window. When I won the award, there was kids from my middle school that hit me up out of I'm talking about for my first couple of years. So like you're talking about almost 18, 19 years ago. But I tell you this, when I go out, like outside my house and go out to eat or whatever, go hang out with friends, I see kids every day. Nice. And when they come up to me and say, "What up, Coach Bennett? How you doing? Good to see you. How's life been? Thanks for this." That's what makes teaching special.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only profession that you're saying that in therapy is very similar, very close, but teaching is one of the only professions that you get that you can get that type of power. Yeah. And again, there's the other spectrum where there's teachers that don't want to see kids, right?
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, I think teaching gets a bad rep from very few, but there's a lot of teachers like Aubrey Bennett. Carver High School has, tons of me, better than me. And I say it all the time. There's schools I've met since I've been doing this. There's tons of teachers better than me out there. I'm just really good at what I do. And I feel like I'm not even that great of a teacher. I feel like I'm a very good educator.
I like the way you put all of that, because I'm going to steal what you just, I'm going to steal it when I talk about like the project-based learning. So I am a therapist as well, but I also taught, and I realized like the same story. You gave me a curriculum. No, you gave me some shells of a curriculum. It was an motivation and emotion course on a collegiate level. And I'm like, yeah, I know what I know, but I don't know. This is not. So the project based, did that allow you to put your personality into it, which in turn made you more impactful? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Okay. And it connected them to the things. So like you can connect history to present day, right? Within that, maybe you're writing a letter to the mayor today about something that may have happened in like the redlining of Birmingham.
Okay.
Right. So it connects past. You got to learn and research and do gain historical knowledge to be able to do something that connects to you today that can impact you for the future. And a lot of times that's what we kind of get away from. We just want the kids to go and do questions and answers and be done for the day and think they learned.
They haven't learned anything.
No. You want it to attach to them. And I think when you talk about rigor and high level academics, you have to find a way for them to want to learn on their own. And for me, it's curiosity. I create a lot of curiosity in my classroom. Everything through pictures, through political cartoons, through videos, through just different forms of learning that a kid, you came in my classroom, it wouldn't matter what style of learning you have, I'm going to give it to you and you're going to be excited about it.
Well, when can we come to class? Okay.
Well, I'm no longer in the classroom. That's the only.
We're going to work this out.
We're going to find a way.
We're going to figure this out.
We're going to find a way.
Because I'm learning already. Marcia, what you got?
Okay, well, first I'd like to say that I love the fact that you were introspective enough within yourself to understand or ask, okay, what am I doing wrong? How am I not connecting with them? A lot of people don't take out the time to look within and understand how they can reach people through their communication or through their learning. So tends to you on doing that. But also I'd like to ask, if you weren't currently in Birmingham, where do you think you'd be and what do you think you'd be doing?
It's a great question. And I say this a lot because people always kind of be like, man, you'd be really good at something else. Well, first of all, to be a teacher has been the biggest blessing of my life. Number one, there's hands down. But I would be in Charlotte, North Carolina with my mom. So my mom, I've been away from my mom moved down to Charlotte with my two other brothers. And I've been away from my mom now for 20 plus years of my life. So my goal is when I retire, so I can retire in 6 years or whatever, I'm going to eventually move back to be closer to my mom and spend time with her. So that definitively would be that. And honestly, I probably would have been in something like sports. I don't know, something probably where I'm talking to people, socializing, networking, interacting in that capacity. But I love sports. I'm a huge sports advocate. My best friend all my best friends love sports. I mean, I just grew up around sports and I understand the impact and the power it has. And right now we're in a beautiful age of NIL and everything crazy going on with that. So there's a lot of money in sports right now. So probably something like that.
Nice. Thank you for answering.
Yeah, for sure. Great question.
Well, okay. Alan, what you thinking? You get motivated? A little motivation?
Yeah.
I
sure.
see.
Yeah.
I see the wheels turning. I see it.
Yeah, I feel like all of that's the definition of just not giving up. And you just gotta keep going, even if it's hard, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see your wheels turning. So when we had this conversation again, you'll be able to say, "Yo, well, so look, this is what I'm doing. I'm talking." Okay. All right. Marcel's gonna stay on you. That's what I see happening. That's what I see happening. Don't you see the twin face, Eddie?
Like sometimes a moment will come up and people will be like, you being a therapist right now, acting like a therapist, and it's like I don't do this because I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist because I do this.
Yeah, I'm just doing my thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's the vibe you give me. It's like I found the thing that matches my essence, my energy, what I want to put out into the world.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounds like. Like, you know what they say, if you can get somebody to pay you to do something that you love, then you never work a day in your life.
Yeah. And you do it for free.
Yeah, it'd be feeling like that. Yeah. Well, capitalism ain't making nothing easy right now.
So I'm doing nothing for free.
Yeah. Like raises ain't raising up enough.
Yeah.
Right. It's tough to stick with inflation.
So the fact that you're not in the classroom, that kind of makes me sad a tad bit. And when educators make that transition, like I see that often, like you've been such a great instructor. We want to bring you down to the board of education. For what? We need you in the classroom. So I want to go back to the classroom and talk about African American studies because so many people, old and young alike, know nothing about African American, the experience.
Yeah.
So what was this class based in? And that's going to give me the idea for how we can keep this going.
So first of all, I want to let everybody know it's advanced placement.
So I have to be an AP student first.
No, any student can take this class.
Okay.
So the cool part about advanced placement is it means you can have it's access for all. Okay.
Gotcha.
And I say, honestly, I just want kids that are motivated to learn. I doesn't matter what their GPA says or anything like that. That doesn't matter. But for me, it consists of 4 units. It's really simple. The first unit is about learning about Africa, exploring Africa. The second unit is about slavery. The third unit is about civil rights. And the fourth unit is about modern day history. And I always tell, first of all, if the African-American student in the class, they're going to know that units 3 and 4 off the rip. Right, they know about civil rights, especially if you're around here in Birmingham and Alabama. They know something. They have a core foundational understanding of it, and then they know modern history. So they know about Jay-Z or Kendrick Lamar or stuff like that. So the big thing is to get them in sold in about where they came from, right? The history of Africa and how we spread out across the world and everything that came along with that with slavery. One of the coolest things that I do in my class, I show them the scene from Amistad. And it always makes kids tear up. But I have to show that because kids these days, they don't really understand. They don't have the same type of empathy we may have had growing up, right?
Right.
So because if they don't see it in front of them, they don't believe it. So when I show them Amistad, it brings that empathy to them. They understand. They build that connection there. And so I feel like so with that AP African American Studies, a lot of times I think what we've gotten to in a place in our country is we don't want to talk about this because it was a sore subject in our with our government and with us in our history. But what I try to tell them is it's still a part of history. Let's get a clear picture of what happened. Let's talk about it. Let's have opinions on it, and let's know the facts. And for me, I give my kids that experience to really understand what happened to their ancestors and why they are where they're at today.
I like it. Okay. All right. So I want to know.
Okay.
I got an idea. Okay. Eddie, I know you got something.
What do you cater differently to white kids or Latino kids in the class as far as them not having that foundational language and understanding of what's going on, and like how do black kids also like navigate that space? Do they help kind of with that, or do you have like a curriculum fit for just that dynamic?
That's a great question. So I have not actually taught a white student yet in my class, but I do have friends that have. So I have other friends across state where I've started the class, and they have, and they've talked about it, like the balance of them being able to pass the test based upon them not having the core foundational understandings of Black history.
Right.
But it's good for them to do it because of the empathy part too. Again, it helps them grow as individuals and have empathy for a race of people they may not have had before.
Mm-hmm.
But my Hispanic students, I have had Hispanic students. Last year I had 2, the year before I had 1, and 2 of the 3 passed the test. But the thing with that is it builds a connection. So for example, what you would want is in this time, people to have empathy for the Hispanic population in our country. because they're being racially targeted, right?
Yeah.
So the African American students, by having the class together and understanding that and having the empathy and the Hispanic students too, they now have empathy for each other. They see each other, what they've gone through or what they're going through, and then now they can relate to each other in a different capacity. And I think that's a beautiful thing in itself right there. That's what I've really liked about my class, especially with the Hispanic students. And I've talked about that. I wrote a newsletter for the State Department about that because I think you don't want to just say it should only be in predominantly Black schools. This should be in every school, honestly. I think
it's history.
You should have access to this in every school. And I think the more they're actually coming out with a women's rights one. They're trying to build a women's rights ones. I think it's going to be a super dope too. I think any capacity where you individualize understanding about culture, historical culture, about a race of people, I think is very powerful, especially within your own country.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I can see that like attacking like the sentiments of anti-Blackness at the root, because there's one a lot of Latino countries, everywhere, because everywhere was colonized, so everywhere darker skin is least favorable, even if you're in Japan or if you're in the Dominican Republic, darker skin is least favored than lighter skin. So I can see, targeting it at the root where that empathy for each other comes into play, and you start seeing the humanity in each other instead of like pointing those fingers, like the system like encourages you to do.
We actually read a book called Stamped. If you ever have a chance, read this book called Stamped. It's very, very powerful. It talks about how Christianity led into racism and the ideals behind it and how it all correlates together. But my kids got to read it, and it opened their eyes to a lot of how racism has been around since the dawn of time, right? And it changes with whoever is in power, right? Of who they choose to show racism towards. So, but the book is Stamped is very powerful. It's a very good book. Very high level book, and I thought my kids did a really good job of connecting to that book itself. So
I talk about how white supremacy, patriarchy, Christianity, democracy, all of them came over here on the same boat. and sometimes when you attack one, a part of the other one hold it up, And so even if you attack patriarchy regarding women's autonomy, then Christianity gonna be like, hold on now.
Yep, it's something that's gonna attack the next system.
And so it's like they're all intertwined vines in like this very elaborate fence that's really hard to disconnect one from the other. But the key to the solution is education.
You know what I thought? I don't know if you guys remember the scene. Do you remember Malcolm X? The scene in Malcolm X with the Bible scene? Black, and it would read the definition was like dirty, corrupt, bad, and then you had the white. And I showed my kids because it talks about that in Stamped, and like they were just like blown away. I'm like, yes, this is so what we're based on. It's the foundational understanding we're based upon as a country. So
for sure.
So I have a question. So in college, I took a hip hop and race class, and it was taught by a white woman. She was from Philly, I think.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. It was only me, and it was like another white guy in the class, and obviously it was being taught by a white woman. But I do wonder, do you feel like your lesson is received better by your kids because you're Black? And do you think it'd be received differently if someone was teaching it of another race?
Of course. And that's a really, really good question. And obviously in education, you can't determine who your teacher is. You just determine who they are as a person, right?
Yeah.
But I think as long as you're teaching them the content where they can connect to you and you have that relationship with them, no matter what, they'll receive it. But I do think Black history is going to come better from an actual Black person. Right. But do I think it can't be taught? No, I think it can be taught by anybody. I think if you truly want to learn about it, it can be, anybody can teach it. Yeah.
I think so too.
But I agree with you saying.
More than anything, I want to know why it was just you and the other person in the class with the white teacher.
It was like a college elective. It wasn't a lot of people that took it, but it was interesting to me because I went to Vestavia Hills High School growing up. So of course, like my knowledge of Black history is so slim. And I remember telling her in the class, like, I don't know where I'm from. Like, I don't have that privilege. And that was like a little bit after they like rioted the Capitol.
Yeah.
And I told her if Black people did that, it would have been a massacre. We don't get away with stuff like that. So I thought it was cool for me to be able to be in that space and like openly show that like I'm Black and proud of it, but also like even further than that, tell them, like, let them know, like, y'all have that privilege. Like, that's a privilege for you. I don't know where my people come from. And I have to go as far as like paying for some sort of service to even maybe find out. And even still, like, how am I sure that it's correct, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just interesting.
I understand that very well. So the school I came from in Syracuse, New York was 99% predominantly white.
Okay.
Did not have, and in New York, Black history is totally different. Like we have one section in a big textbook, like literally that's it. And I remember people looking back at me when because they were nervous. Like they didn't know how to kind of talk about it around me. When I came down here, this is a story that I've only told a couple of times, but my best friend EJ, he's another Black guy up from New York, same community. He came down here, and I took him to the Civil Rights Museum. Now I had been through it. I've been down here for like 4 or 5 years, so I kind of got the Birmingham experience already. He went and he cried after. He never understood who he truly was, and he got to see it within that museum. So. We understand that. Like I understand where you're coming from, and that's a real thing across our country. And I think we've got to. That's why I said the course is so important, because it just gives you a deeper look and viewpoint into your own history, or if someone else they want to learn about the history of African Americans. So, yeah, that's very powerful. But I've learned, and that's why I think I've got so excited about wanting to teach the class, because I never had a chance to learn it like you were saying.
Right. I can see that.
Harriet Tubman, Syracuse, New York, right? Isn't that a connection? Google that right quick, y'all.
Yeah, Google that.
Because I need you to know that like if in
I know we have the Erie Canal. We just got a new basketball coach today.
So okay. So something that I do know that I've gathered from this whole conversation is that what separates us truly is education.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
Period. Bigger than color, bigger than anything else. Education separates us. And what I'm hearing is that you've used your platform to bring us all back around the table to talk about issues and educate about things that people don't even they don't see as everybody's history.
Yeah, and they don't really like to talk about.
Like,
we don't only want to talk about it during Black History Month, or maybe a situation, an anniversary or something, but we don't do it on a regular basis. And I think we need to have more conversations, more educated, thoughtful discourse.
We're going to do that. Sure are. What'd you find out?
Okay, it turns out that Harriet Tubman continued her devotion to supporting others by opening her home and 7-acre farm she purchased in 1859 in Auburn, New York, to let people
like right down the street. So I used to think, oh, that's really good. I thought Auburn was Auburn, Alabama. I used to love Auburn. I loved back in the day when they had Stephen Davis and they were the probation teams.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I'm like, I want to go to a game sometime. I want to go to Auburn University.
And it was right by you.
No, Auburn is, yes. It's like 20 minutes away. But the real Auburn down here was not. So when I came down here, I finally went to a game. I was like, that's crazy. I thought the whole time.
That's what's up. Like the power of education.
The power of education.
So it's that. We got a few seconds left. Final thoughts. We'll get your final thoughts first.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you for having me on this show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
And like I said, I think that, like you're saying, education is key. I would like people to understand that there's a lot of teachers like me working very hard in Birmingham City Schools and across the state of Alabama to give our kids the best education possible. And so, just give them a shout out, respect them, and let them know that they're important. I think that's the biggest thing. I think, I've always wanted to bring a spotlight to teachers and make being a teacher cool.
Yeah.
And so that's my thing now, and just, promoting the other teachers out there and being a guide for them one day to be like me or better than me one day.
That's what's up. Final thoughts.
Look, I'm a staunch advocate for the kids. Parents be getting mad at me. It's like, you got to prove to me you decent before I start blaming your kid. And the energy that I get from you is like, kid first, everybody else next. Because that's the next generation. And so I kind of like the energy and the dialogue and just how you present yourself. And it gives me faith, really not knowing what's going on in the schools these days, that like not only am I that guy, but like there's other me's in this school system, and like the humility that come along with that, man. I appreciate your presence and being there for the kids and everything, man.
Thank you.
All right.
For sure. I'm inspired. I feel like I'm proud of you. Thank you for what you do. And I feel like there needs to be more people like you, but also it's like, even though like it might be in the shadows sometimes, like it's still appreciated and it's respected. And not only that, it's needed. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Awesome. And Vital Youth Crew has the final words. What's your mind?
Pretty much the same thing that everybody else was saying. Thank you. Vestavia Hills definitely would need someone like you. because things have definitely changed ever since then, considering I graduated from there last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great show. Great motivation. Beautiful wrap up on education, culture, and connection and being vital. So everything that you've heard tonight has just encompassed all of that. We're going to keep this conversation going. We are going to do that. Y'all be around. I can't say that we'll be here next week because it's spring break. I don't know if we're going anywhere or not, but we probably won't be on the air. Then after that, it's Easter Sunday. Probably won't be on the air. It's that season. We outside. Y'all be vital. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. Good night.
That was fun.
Yeah.